fringes of the Arctic, the middle of the desert, on a mountain in a blizzard. Given a choice, most people would easily choose a tropical island if they were forced with the decision of where they had to attempt survival. And I'm no different. It may be easier, but that doesn't mean it's easy. Without fresh water, you're dead in a week. With it, you still need to brave sharks, eels, and poisonous fish if you intend to harvest from the ocean. The intensity of the sun here can fry you in minutes, and brutal cyclones can wipe you off the face of the island. To create the right scenario, my crew is leaving me a boat wreck. They'll run it out ahead of me to wait on the island. Recreational diving is becoming hugely popular worldwide. And just like skiers looking for the next mountain, divers are always on the search for new and more remote locations for underwater discoveries. Diving is an addictive activity. Though the lead-up is often early mornings and rushed boat trips, it all stops when you fall beneath the waves. You only hear your breathing, and everything around you moves in a slow, serene manner. But the skill itself requires solid instruction and takes years to master, and as with many things, along with its inherent beauty, is the potential for danger. But the risk is worth it. The Cook Islands are in the middle of the South Pacific Ocean, and my island, called Motiktu, is on the outside edge of a massive shallow lagoon. I could literally walk or swim my way across to the main island where people live and vacation. That wouldn't be survival. But accidents do happen. A storm can blow in, or a navigational error can leave you stranded on some small island. But what happens more often than you might think, your dive boat leaves you behind, either fearing that you're lost or simply forgetting to do a head count. And you're left dumbfounded, horrified, and alone in the middle of the ocean. So with my safety crew a few miles away across the lagoon, it's my lot to survive the next 7 days alone without food or water on my own little paradise. You know, survival on a tropical island might just sound ideal. And I suppose if you compare it to the middle of the desert or the Arctic, it is. But survival is still survival, no matter where you find yourself. And for the next 7 days, I'll have to survive here, alone, without a camera crew, no food, and no one to film me but myself. To simulate a shipwreck, they left me a wreck. All my dive gear, including my dive bag, and one shirt. And as always, I have my multi-tool and my harmonica along for the ride. Tropical island survival or not, it's gonna be a long week. Already a storm coming in, and I haven't even unpacked yet. Well, the first thing I'm gonna do is just get this boat straightened up and get ready for this storm to hit. Take a look at what gear I've got with all my dive stuff that I can make use of and get out of this wetsuit. Here's all my dive gear, underwater camera equipment, and my shirt. Well, unfortunately, if it does come on to rain, that's my only shelter for tonight. Well, that's it. Hasn't rained yet. The stars are out. I can see the rain off in the distance. So, night number 1 of surviving on a tropical island is going to be right here in this boat. And with any luck at all, the rain will hold off. If it doesn't, I'm gonna have to crawl inside underneath the bow. And I won't sleep at all. It's not very comfortable in there. But I'll get through the night tonight. And tomorrow will be a new day. See how it goes. It's morning of day 2, surviving in a tropical paradise. Well, I got through the night all right. It did spit, though, just a little bit. Just giving me the heads up on the warning that there probably is rain coming. Of course, right now, I don't have rain. I've got the opposite problem, which is the direct sun. It'll burn me in this tropical heat in a very short time. So I'm gonna pull everything out of the boat. I had to put everything back into the boat last night because this island is crawling with ship rats. So I brought everything up into the boat so it wouldn't get all chewed up. And I'll take it out now and just see what I've got to work with here. So for the most part, I don't have anything with me that any other normal diver wouldn't likely have with them. I've got my wetsuit and booties, fins, snorkel, mask, regulator, my BCD, and my dive bag with things such as casing for my mask and a few other items like that. Everything that any normal diver would have with them on a diving excursion. So we'll see what I can do with this stuff. And I'm gonna take a look at that boat. Go. To help keep some of that sun off my head. Fry to a crisp out here. That'll have to do. This boat has a lot of junk that I can probably use. Buckets full of rust and old oil. Not much I can use these for. Way too dirty. Poison myself if I collected rain with them. Just a little tiny bit of gas left in there. Probably also water in it as well. It's like even some old fishing line. Old rusty hooks. You know, in a survival situation, anything is usable. Nothing is too small or insignificant. I think the first thing I'm going to use is this crowbar. It's time to do a little remodeling on the boat wreck. When it comes to building shelters in a survival situation, the best thing for me to do is to take any advantages I can find and save myself a lot of energy loss. Why go to the trouble of building an elaborate bush shelter when there's some kind of natural shelter close by, or in this case, a man-made structure that for now is high and dry? The island is thick with gnats, rats, and mosquitoes that can carry dengue fever. In the boat wreck, I'm out in the breeze and up off the ground, the best place to be. I might regret saying this, but I think when that rain comes, it'll be quite a relief. This tropical sun is a killer. Just moving around in it at all, wiping me right out. I have to stop pretty often just to rest in the shade. I'd just be burned out. I'm able to moderate my body temperature with frequent dips in the ocean, but that in itself has a lot of inherent dangers around here. Now it's time to make use of some of my dive gear. I was going to cut this apart and use it as a blanket, but it's going to make a perfect rain catch if I ever get any rain. That's what I'm going to use it for. Let it rain. Well, at the very least, I can use this big, heavy tank like a signal device. I have a dive knife that was strapped to my BCD, and I was going to dangle it here because what can happen is the sun can hit it and it will flash and acts as a marker for anybody out there who might be looking for someone who's lost. They pick up the flash and hopefully come in and rescue you. But I just discovered that this dive knife that I have, I forgot, it's titanium. There's no shine to it, so I can't use it for that. That's a good thing to know when you're buying a knife. So instead, I'm going to use some of these marker boards, underwater writing boards. Now, the tank itself is bright yellow, so that helps. These cards are very white, so with any luck at all, they'll be easy for the eye to pick up from a distance. Well, not so certain that that'll work, but it puts the shiny white card in the sun, in the wind, flashing. Somebody in the distance might spot it and come in to see what's going on. Other than that, that big yellow air tank, if I could get the top off, I could maybe boil water inside it, but beyond that, it's just a big, heavy air tank. Maybe I can crack milk it. So maybe I can crack coconuts on it or something. I'm about 100 yards walk from my boat shelter, and I think I've found a nice little supply. Oh. There we go. All right. I need this bad. This little baby will be the source of a lot of benefits for me. I've got 4 uses I can get out of it. And the first one is to get a drink. It's a little dangerous walking around in bare feet, but I needed to get them out of those neoprene booties, let them breathe, get some air, or I would have ended up with fungus problems. Well, I do have a dive knife, but in survival, if you have a knife, it's best to not use it if you don't have to. Any other means you can find to open things or break things or cut things instead of using up your knife are better because it saves the knife, keeps it sharp, perhaps for when you really, really need it. So survival, for sure, the best thing you can do is base everything on spending the least amount, the least amount of energy as possible. So what I'm doing here is, there's a stump. It's already in position. It's got some sharp, very sharp points on it. So maybe I can use this a bit of leverage to get into this coconut a safe way. So you just put it in once like that. You don't keep jamming in. Wiggle it in and then start to just push down on the other side of the coconut here. In, wiggle, and push. Come around to this side. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. And all of this inside of this coconut is a good fire starter. All right, I've got a husked coconut now. See the little face in the front there? And all I have to do is pop in there. There we go. Oh, I need this. Go. Perfect. So the trick to this is simply to hit the coconut right dead center, just a bit, all the way around. Weaken it. There we go. And that way, when you open it up, 2 perfect halves and a lot of delicious coconut meat. The other benefit I have now with coconut is I can take it, I can scrape some, and this coconut mush, and use it as a protective oil from the sun. If I can eat 1 coconut a day, I can survive. They're full of a ton of essential nutrients, vitamins, minerals. Augment that with fish, whatever else I can find or catch out here, and it'll be some pretty good survival. I found my small raincoat in my dive bag, a good thing given that the weather here changes very quickly. Well, here comes the rain. Might not necessarily be the most comfortable shelter I'll ever have, but hopefully it'll be dry. I'm a little worried about the peak. The angle's wrong and it could come dripping down on me. I have to sacrifice an airbag to keep the rain out. Well, that stops the drip at the peak. Probably best I don't allow myself to get soaking wet. It is the tropics. It's pretty unlikely I'll get hypothermic, but I suppose the possibility is always there. If it stayed raining like this for a long time and went into the night, I could get pretty chilled. No need to let that happen, so I'll stay in out of the rain for now. Even a paradise without fresh water would quickly become a death sentence. This rain catch is working fantastic for me. This is the regulator. I'm going to sacrifice it. Can't use it anymore here anyway. Okay. Excellent. Tastes like rubber, but hey, it's water. Well, if it rains at all tonight, I'm pretty well protected with this wooden cabin. It's nice to get that bit of water right before bed like that, just to get some liquid back into my system. Oh. It also feels good to be up this high off the ground and away from all those rats. I don't know if they'll make their way into the boat. I would imagine they can sooner or later. The island is covered in rats that have little fear of me. These are actually ship rats, and they are likely direct descendants of rats off Captain Cook's ship itself. Well, it's morning of day 3. I didn't get quite as much rain as I had hoped for last night, but I still did get a few cups, which is pretty helpful. Shelter's holding out fine. Didn't rain all that much last night, so now I'm gonna go into the center of the island and see what I can find there. My priority, now that my shelter is secure and I found a source or two of fresh water, is to assess my surroundings, see what I can take advantage of in the tropical forest itself. Anything I can use as an axe is likely going to help. It's a beautiful island, both in the interior and on the beach, and my time here is made safer by the fact that there are no poisonous snakes or insects to worry about, so exploring comes easy. Okay, good. Here's something I can use. Take these feathers out now. These feathers are not just for show. They're acting kind of like a baseball cap. They're shielding my eyes from the direct, harsh sunlight. In fact, when you see Native Americans in old paintings and pictures and they've got just the one feather stuck out of the side, what they're doing is they're blocking the sunlight, the direct sun from the horizon when they go off hunting. All right, this I can make use of. Yes, indeed. I've got cuts on my hands and the flies are trying to get at them. Might want to cover them up soon, or something lays its eggs in my skin. So this fella here, I can eat. The tropical forests, just like the jungles and the boreal forests across the world, are filled with millions as of yet undiscovered nutritional and medicinal benefits from the plants within their delicate ecosystems. All right. This is going to be good. Now, those roots that are like that, there are hundreds of them on this island. If I can get maybe 3 or 4 of those a day and drink this healthful liquid, it's really good for getting liquid into my system, and it's excellent for the heart. It even tastes good. That's great. Go get some more of those. There are a number of stages in the growth of coconuts, and all of them have their benefits to the lost victim. Ha-ha! Ready for this? This is my favorite part of the coconut. Juicy, tasty, oh so sweet. Ah. Man. Dive gear bags and mesh bags always go hand in hand. Every diver's got some mesh bags kicking around. Well, I still have the rubber tubing from this regulator. Using one as a drinking straw for that rainwater, which is such a godsend. I have a couple of gallons of rainwater in that bag now, which is fantastic. I think I'll sacrifice another to make this fish net. That's the end of that. Ooh, wow. This tubing is way thicker than I was expecting, and I can't actually get my knife to go through that very well. Just got to be really careful in a situation like this. If I slip, I'm just going to slice right into my hand. Looks like a fish net to me. Before I was left out here, the local islanders had shared with me the survival benefit of this particular time of year, the availability of some wild game. Got a great opportunity for a meal here. If it's still there, get back to it. It's a young booby, that's a bird, that has fallen down out of its nest. I don't think he can fly. This can be a real substantial meal for me. Have a meal tonight. Now that is a survival meal and a half. You see, these boobies and different birds are nesting on the island right now, and all of the young are in the nests, and they can't fly yet. They'll fall out of the nest sometimes, and they'll either starve on the ground, or they'll get eaten by something else, or sometimes they make it. But in this case, I think rather than climbing a coconut tree today, I'm going to concentrate on getting a fire going and have myself one heck of a meal. Whenever you catch a wild bird, the best thing is to pluck the feathers right away. Body's still warm, feathers come off much easier. All I really want to do is just open this bird up enough to take the insides out so that I can skewer it. I just want to get your fingers right up inside, break the membrane away from the rib cage, and pull. Okay, leave the feet on. I'm going to put that on a skewer. First I'll go wash it off in the salt water and have me a meal. I'm going to try something new for getting a fire going. I've got all the stuffing from the coconut tree. Add a bit of gasoline. There we go. This is a rescue tube, diver's rescue tube. And usually things kept in it are items like matches, lighters, and often, in my case anyway, I have flares. These things tend to shoot really far. Wish me luck, folks. Here we go. Yeah! Look at that! Excellent. We're having roast booby tonight. What happened there was, there's my flare. You see, you just pull down on this lever and boom, you shoot the flare, and normally it goes flying up into the sky. So I just had everything closed in there with the rock on top, shoot that right into it, and I'll bet you that would work whether there was gasoline or not, so it's a good thing to know. The flare, big bundle of dried tinder, protected with a rock, and you've got yourself a good fire. And I have myself some roast booby to eat. Pretty much any bird is edible in a survival situation, and there are plenty of rescued survivors to verify that. Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah. Roast brown booby. Cheers. Roast booby, coconut milk. Oh boy. Oh man, is that good. The irony being that I'm eating booby breast. Yet again, a tropical weather system takes control. I do believe I'm trapped in here for a little while. Glad I got that good meal in, and I had the chance. This should mean my rain catch is filling up with water. Well, it's middle of the night, and it's been raining non-stop. It's been really hard to get out of the boat, and the tapes had finished in my camera, so I wasn't even able to get out to my camera gear to replace the tapes till just now. The good news is that my rain catch is filling up with great, fresh, clean rainwater. Huge difference for me. But I see more black clouds coming, and I have to tuck back into the boat and try to get some more sleep. Wow, bit of a tropical storm. It's day 4, and the tropical weather patterns are not giving me any breaks. It's been raining all night, and as morning comes in, it's still coming down. This is pretty much it. Been stuck like this for, I don't know, probably nearly 20 hours now. Just on and off pouring rain. Some of my cameras are actually shutting down and from the moisture. And I haven't been able to even get outside to change tapes to shoot much. Oh man, it's still coming down. Oh man. 2 of my cameras shut down, and my audio pack shut down, all from about 20 hours of non-stop rain. They're just showing the condensation meters are blinking and won't allow me to turn the cameras on. So 2 down and 2 cameras left. This is enough rainwater, I'm sure, as long as it doesn't become contaminated, to get me through the next few days. The thing I have to worry about here is there are so many rats here on the island. I'm still worried that what if they're coming in here to drink the fresh water and then probably also defecating and peeing in the water. Better cover you up. I want to lose this camera too. It's time to make the ultimate sacrifice. Oh, say goodbye to a good harmonica. See where I'm getting at here. Okay, so this is going to be my spear point. It once was a blues harmonica. Now, it is a spear point. Since this has been pretty much a whole write-off this day. I've only got a couple of hours left, so I think what I'm going to do is just work on my fishing implements and get everything made and ready for tomorrow. And then if I have to, if it's still raining tomorrow, I'll put on the wetsuit, but still get in the water, catch some fish. Too tempting not to. Oh, this is an old wreck of a boat, and as luck would have it, it has its share of tangled up old fishing line and some old hooks. This will work perfect. I can blow this up, nice bright float, get an anchor for it, and I'm going to dangle a bunch of hooks from it. I can use the zipper. Got buckles I can tie to here. Closest I can come to somehow simulating survival at its best or worst, as it were, is to not have a camera crew and be out here alone. But that means that loneliness and fatigue and I don't know, maybe not boredom, but although boredom can be deadly out here, but it all hits me. And a day like today where it's just been raining all day, it's pretty hard on the system, pretty hard on the emotions. These are very rusty old hooks. It wouldn't take much for me to slip, fall, turn, pull, do something too fast, I'm not watching, and shove one of these barbed rusty hooks into my skin. And then I've got myself a whole new set of problems to deal with. There we go. So I've got a float, I've got all these hooks dangling from it. I'll put this out there with some bait on it and an anchor and a rope to the shore. Oh, that's one thing I have to make sure that I do. Let's put on my wetsuit booties, because right now is about the most dangerous thing I could do, heading out into the water. The reason being is stonefish. Stonefish are one of the most poisonous fish in the ocean, and there are a lot of them in this area. All I have to do is step on one of them, which is a common occurrence if you're in their area. They're easy to step on, they're camouflaged, you can't see them, and they'll tend to hide, so you can step on them. And just one stab of that would be excruciatingly painful. The pain shoots from the bottom of your foot right up to the top of your head and can and has been fatal. As is the case so often, when an ecosystem contains some kind of poisonous element, it also provides a cure. And this little green leaf chewed up and put in the wound would stop the stonefish's venom in as little as a half an hour. Now it's time to get the bait. Pull the crab out. The part I want, this juicy little specimen right here, that's what I can use for my fish bait. I want to break up because I'm going to use it like chum. When you chum the water for fish, you're just basically trying to get all the scent. If I leave the bait too big, then the fish eat it, and they get fed and they don't bother going after the bait that's on the hooks. All right, so I've got the float that I made with all the hooks dangling from it, and I figure I can use my own diver's weight belt as the anchor. And I'm gonna get this out there. I've got my crab bait now. See if I can catch something. Oh, I did mention that I have to watch out for stonefish. I also have to look out for moray eels. They are poisonous, but they pack quite a bite. Did I also mention that most shark attacks occur in 2 to 3 feet of water? The lagoon is like a massive swimming pool, making most activities pretty easy. The other side of the island is the open ocean and can be quite rough, so I'll try fishing on this side for now. For 3 days, there were flounder all around me when I walked in the water. Now that I have a spear, they're nowhere to be found. What's happened is that they've become aware of me. They've sensed me as a threat and have moved on to elsewhere in the lagoon until I stop entering the water. This is just another part of becoming aware of the natural cycles and rhythms of an area when you're attempting to survive. Well, here comes the rain again. I didn't get a lot accomplished today. but probably 36 hours of non-stop rain played a big part in that. So here I am stuck in the boat wreck shelter again. It's just the way it goes sometimes in survival. But I did get a spear made, a net made, and a fish float made, so tomorrow I will do as best as I can to try to catch some fish. It's day 5. My fish float with bait on it is in the water and hopefully doing its job. But this wet weather is frustrating me. It's time to get busy. You know, I'm just about hot enough that if it stays like this, maybe I'll just go back out and fish in the rain. What I want to do is I want to dive for clams. The tropical ocean is bountiful if you know what to look for and what to watch out for. This is a type of sea cucumber, and the white slime that comes out of it works very much like an antiseptic covering for cuts and scrapes. It's even being researched by scientists to see how it can be utilized for medical benefits. All right, well, definitely worth going in the water and seeing what was there. There's not a lot on this side. There's going to be more on the other side of the island, I'm sure. But save that till tomorrow. So I'm just gonna cut into this clam, get myself a meal. Fresh clam, and it's sweet. Well, wow, that's good. Where there's one, there's going to be more. Another young one. He'd be a pretty easy target for me to get. I was able to walk right up to him on the beach just before I got this shot, before he took off up into the tree. He's just learning to fly. I've already taken one from the island. I don't need to take any more. We'll leave him be. Since the flounder seem to have outsmarted me by leaving this area, I want to see if I can outsmart them by attempting some night fishing. Bit dangerous, but worth the try. Well, here goes nothing. I'm gonna grab the torch, set it on fire, and make my way to the water. Although how I'm going to carry the camera at the same time is beyond me. A lot windier than I was hoping it was going to be. I just got to make my way down to where the coral beds are. That's where the best fishing is going to be. This is not easy. Should have built the fire way down there. Night fishing is a spooky activity. The light only gives you vision for a few feet. Sharks usually enter into the lagoon at night to feed. The chance of stepping on an extremely poisonous stonefish or painful sea urchin becomes much higher. It's one of those things that can work once you master it. You just have to take a deep breath and go for it. Given time and practice, I know I could make it successful, but it's going to take a lot of patience. Well, I tried. Obviously, fishing with a torch made out of palm fronds at night here in the tropics is something I'm going to need to try again. The problem here was fire was too far from the coral spot, so running down there I lost a lot of the torch. So now I know. Make sure that I've got a very short distance between lighting it and getting into where the coral is to try to find the fish. So I'm giving it another shot while I still have the energy. I would love to get myself a meal of fresh fish. It's day 6, and I'm bound and determined to finish this survival odyssey on a good note. Maybe even with my own tropical feast. Made a kind of a mess of it, but the insides of these palm trees are quite good, quite edible. Come on, baby, burn. Here we go. That's what I like to see. Now to cook up some of that bounty. Oh boy. Welcome to dinner. We've got, of course, my favorite coconut centers, palm heart, roasted coconut center, coconut roasted clam, my root juice in a beautiful coconut cup, and of course, my coconut juice. Which I think maybe what I'll do is I'll add a little, mix the two together. There we go. Nice. What a smorgasbord. Well, I can tell you, this is going to be fantastic. And all of this was gathered really in not very much time at all. But for now, I've got a fantastic meal ahead of me. Let's try these roasted clams. Oh, that's good. The finest bubbly. Ooh. Oh, this is good. You know, I've survived in a lot of places, a lot of remote areas, and I've had times where there's been very little food all week long. But in a place like the tropics, there's no need to starve. There's plenty of food around. This is the easy stuff to get. I haven't yet been able to get a flounder. When I was here in the beginning of the week, there were all kinds of them. The last 2 days, I haven't seen one. It might be a lot easier for me to survive here in the tropics than it is, say, in the Arctic or in a desert. But without the will to live, there's survival nowhere. And the rats are joining me for a meal. Look at you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like Willard here. There's rats coming in from everywhere. Get out of here. Well, tomorrow my rescue comes. The boat will come in for me. And you know, I think this is the one time I wouldn't mind if they waited a couple of days. Left me alone out here for a little bit longer. Well, that's night number 6. Surviving on a tropical island. It's a good day today. I had a full-on island feast. It wasn't difficult to obtain. And tonight, I've got full moon shining down on me. And since I sacrificed my harmonica earlier on in the week to make a tip for my spear, I grabbed a couple of coconuts, made myself a new instrument. Just whipped this up this afternoon. No one wants to find themselves in a survival situation. You just want to go home. But sometimes the ordeal becomes long-term survival, longer than 7 days. And whether in a life raft, on a mountain, in a desert, or on a tropical island, long-term survival has always been about maintaining the will to live, and then becoming familiar with the surroundings, especially the natural cycles of the plants and animals, even the weather. And then learning how to use these cycles to effect better survival. When the fish are coming in, when the plants are ripe, when the weather is most threatening. All information the lost victim needs to assess what to do next, what to do to survive.